Introduction to Ethnobotany. Ethnobotany is the scientific study of the relationships that exist between people and plants. This field explores how plants are used, managed, and perceived across different human societies and cultures. It encompasses a wide range of disciplines, including botany, anthropology, ecology, and pharmacology. Understanding these interactions is crucial for appreciating human cultural diversity and the ecological roles of plants. The discipline often focuses on traditional knowledge systems, which hold invaluable information about plant uses. This introductory section lays the groundwork for understanding the scope and significance of ethnobotanical studies. The term ethnobotany was first coined in 1895 by the American botanist John William Harshberger. He used it to describe the study of plants used by primitive and aboriginal people. Over time, the definition has evolved to include all human-plant interactions, regardless of the cultural context or level of technological advancement. Modern ethnobotany emphasizes a holistic approach, considering not just the utilitarian aspects, but also the spiritual, linguistic, and social dimensions of plant use. This broader perspective highlights the deep and intricate connections between human well-being and plant diversity. Historical roots of ethnobotany. The practice of ethnobotany has existed for millennia, long before its formal recognition as a scientific discipline. Ancient civilizations meticulously documented plant uses for food, medicine, and spiritual purposes. Early explorers and naturalists such as Dioscorides and Theophrastus compiled extensive herbals that detailed plant properties and applications. These early works formed the foundation for botanical and medicinal knowledge in the Western world. Indigenous communities worldwide have also maintained rich oral traditions and practical knowledge about plants, passed down through generations. These historical practices highlight humanity's enduring reliance on the plant kingdom. During the Age of Exploration, European naturalists traveled to new continents, documenting the flora and fauna they encountered. They often relied on the knowledge of local indigenous populations to understand the uses of unfamiliar plants. Figures like Carl Linnaeus, while focused on taxonomy, benefited immensely from these cross-cultural exchanges of plant information. The 19th century saw a more systematic approach, with botanists like Richard Spruce conducting extensive fieldwork among indigenous groups in the Amazon. These historical expeditions and collaborations were pivotal in shaping the empirical basis of ethnobotany, bridging traditional wisdom with scientific inquiry. Key concepts and definitions. Several core concepts underpin the study of ethnobotany. Traditional ecological knowledge, TEK, refers to the cumulative body of knowledge, practices, and beliefs about the relationship of living beings with their environment, which is handed down through generations by cultural transmission. Ethnomedicine specifically focuses on traditional healing practices, including the use of medicinal plants. Bioprospecting involves the search for plant-derived compounds for commercial purposes, often in pharmaceuticals, raising ethical considerations. Intellectual property rights, IPR, are crucial in discussions surrounding the fair and equitable sharing of benefits derived from traditional knowledge. These terms form the vocabulary essential for engaging with ethnobotanical discourse. Understanding the distinction between folk botany and scientific botany is also important. Folk botany refers to the informal, culturally specific classification and understanding of plants by local communities, often based on practical uses and local ecological observations. Scientific botany, in contrast, employs a universal, hierarchical system of classification based on evolutionary relationships. Ethnobotany bridges these two approaches, seeking to understand and validate folk botanical knowledge through scientific methods. This integration enriches both traditional wisdom and modern scientific understanding, fostering a more comprehensive view of plant diversity and human interaction. Ethnobotany's interdisciplinary nature. Ethnobotany is inherently interdisciplinary, drawing insights from numerous academic fields to build a holistic understanding of human-plant relationships. Botany provides the foundational knowledge of plant identification, taxonomy, and physiology. Anthropology contributes by offering frameworks for understanding cultural practices, social structures, and belief systems related to plants. Ecology helps in comprehending plant habitats, distribution, and the broader environmental context of plant use. Pharmacology and chemistry are vital for analyzing plant compounds and their medicinal properties. This multifaceted approach ensures a comprehensive study of how plants interact with human societies and ecosystems. The collaborative nature of ethnobotany extends beyond academic disciplines to include indigenous communities and local practitioners. Ethnobotanists often work closely with traditional healers, farmers, and elders, recognizing their invaluable expertise. This collaboration is essential for accurate data collection and for ensuring that research benefits the communities involved. It also fosters a respectful exchange of knowledge, bridging scientific methodologies with traditional wisdom. This interdisciplinary and collaborative spirit is a hallmark of effective ethnobotanical research, promoting both scientific advancement and cultural preservation. Methods of ethnobotanical research. Ethnobotanical research employs a variety of methods to gather and analyze data on human-plant interactions. Fieldwork is a cornerstone, involving direct observation, participant observation, and semi-structured interviews with local informants. Researchers collect plant specimens for identification and preservation in herbaria. Quantitative ethnobotany uses statistical tools to analyze data, such as calculating use values or fidelity levels, to assess the importance of specific plants. Qualitative methods, like narrative analysis, capture the rich cultural context and stories associated with plant use. A combination of these approaches provides a comprehensive understanding of the subject. Before commencing fieldwork, extensive literature reviews are conducted to understand previous research and identify knowledge gaps. Ethical considerations are paramount, requiring informed consent from communities and adherence to protocols for benefit sharing. Data collection often involves recording local names, uses, preparation methods, and associated cultural beliefs. Voucher specimens are meticulously prepared and deposited in recognized herbaria for scientific verification. Post-fieldwork analysis includes taxonomic identification, chemical analysis, and cultural interpretation, leading to publications and community reports. This systematic process ensures scientific rigor and cultural sensitivity. Fieldwork techniques and ethics. Effective ethnobotanical fieldwork relies on robust techniques and strict ethical guidelines. Researchers typically immerse themselves in the study community, building rapport and trust over time. Semi-structured interviews allow for flexibility while ensuring key information is gathered about plant uses, local names, and preparation methods. Participant observation involves actively engaging in daily activities related to plants, such as harvesting or processing. Transect walks and guided tours with local experts help in understanding plant distribution and ecological knowledge. These methods are designed to capture both explicit and tacit knowledge from informants. Ethical considerations are paramount in ethnobotanical fieldwork. Obtaining prior informed consent, PIC, from individuals and communities is a non-negotiable first step, ensuring participants understand the research goals and their rights. Researchers must commit to access and benefit sharing ABS, ensuring that any commercial or scientific benefits derived from traditional knowledge are equitably shared with the originating communities. Respect for cultural protocols, intellectual property rights, and the privacy of informants is crucial. These ethical principles safeguard communities from exploitation and promote respectful, mutually beneficial research partnerships. Plant identification and taxonomy. Accurate plant identification is a fundamental skill in ethnobotany. This involves recognizing plant species based on their morphological characteristics, such as leaf shape, flower structure, fruit type, and growth habit. Researchers use field guides, dichotomous keys, and expert consultation to identify unknown specimens. Proper identification ensures that the traditional knowledge collected is linked to the correct botanical species, which is critical for scientific validation and reproducibility. Misidentification can lead to erroneous conclusions about plant uses and properties. Therefore, meticulous attention to detail during identification is paramount. Taxonomy provides the scientific framework for classifying and naming plants. The Linnaean system, based on binomial nomenclature, genus and species, offers a universal language for botanists worldwide. Ethnobotanists often bridge local vernacular plant names with their scientific taxonomic equivalents. This process, known as taxonomic reconciliation, is essential for cross-cultural communication and for integrating traditional knowledge into global scientific databases. Understanding plant families and their evolutionary relationships can also provide clues about potential uses, as closely related species often share similar chemical properties or ecological roles. A solid grasp of plant taxonomy is indispensable for any ethnobotanical study. Documentation of traditional knowledge. Documenting traditional knowledge is a critical aspect of ethnobotanical research, preserving invaluable information for future generations. This process involves systematically recording local plant names, uses, medicinal, food, material, spiritual, preparation methods, and associated cultural narratives. Researchers use various tools, including notebooks, audio recorders, cameras, and GPS devices, to capture comprehensive data. The goal is to create a detailed record that reflects the depth and complexity of a community's relationship with its plant resources. This documentation also serves as a baseline for conservation efforts and for recognizing indigenous intellectual property. The process of documentation must be conducted with utmost respect and sensitivity. It is important to acknowledge that traditional knowledge is often sacred and deeply intertwined with cultural identity. Researchers must ensure that the community retains ownership and control over their knowledge. Digital databases and community-led initiatives are increasingly used to store and manage ethnobotanical data, allowing for easier access and dissemination while protecting intellectual property. The act of documentation itself can also empower communities by validating their knowledge and providing resources for cultural revitalization. This careful and collaborative approach ensures that documentation benefits both science and society. Medicinal plants and traditional healing. Medicinal plants form the backbone of traditional healing systems worldwide, offering a rich source of bioactive compounds. Ethnomedicine explores how different cultures use plants to prevent, treat, and cure illnesses. This includes a vast array of preparations, such as infusions, decoctions, poultices, and ceremonial uses. Traditional healers, often elders or shamans, possess extensive knowledge about plant identification, harvesting, preparation, and dosage. Their practices are often holistic, addressing not only physical symptoms, but also spiritual and emotional well-being. This profound connection between plants and health has been sustained for millennia, predating modern pharmacology. The scientific investigation of medicinal plants, often termed pharmacognosy, seeks to identify and validate the active compounds responsible for their therapeutic effects. Many modern pharmaceuticals, such as aspirin from willow bark and quinine from cinchona bark, originated from traditional plant remedies. Ethnobotanical research plays a crucial role in drug discovery by identifying plants with documented traditional uses, thereby streamlining the search for new medicines. However, it is vital to respect the intellectual property of indigenous communities and ensure equitable benefit sharing when commercializing plant-derived drugs. This intersection of traditional wisdom and modern science holds immense potential for global health. Psychoactive plants and cultural use. Psychoactive plants have been used by humans for millennia across diverse cultures for spiritual, ritualistic, medicinal, and recreational purposes. These plants contain compounds that alter perception, mood, or consciousness. Examples include peyote, ayahuasca, cannabis, and psilocybin mushrooms. Ethnobotanical studies explore the cultural contexts, preparation methods, and belief systems surrounding their use. Understanding these practices requires sensitivity and respect for the profound significance these plants hold within many indigenous traditions. Their use is often deeply embedded in ceremonies, healing rituals, and rites of passage, guided by experienced practitioners. The study of psychoactive plants also involves understanding their pharmacology and potential therapeutic applications. While many are associated with traditional spiritual practices, modern science is exploring their potential in treating mental health conditions like depression, PTSD, and addiction. However, research in this area is complex due to legal restrictions and ethical considerations. Ethnobotanists contribute by documenting traditional knowledge, which can guide scientific inquiry into these plants' properties and safe uses. This field highlights the delicate balance between cultural preservation, scientific exploration, and responsible use of powerful plant compounds. Food plants and nutritional ethnobotany. Food plants are fundamental to human survival and cultural identity, and nutritional ethnobotany explores the diversity of plants consumed by different societies. This field investigates wild edibles, cultivated crops, and the traditional knowledge surrounding their harvesting, preparation, and nutritional value. Many indigenous diets are rich in diverse plant species, providing essential vitamins, minerals, and unique phytonutrients often absent in modern industrialized diets. Understanding these traditional food systems is crucial for addressing food security, promoting dietary diversity, and combating malnutrition globally. It highlights the importance of preserving both plant biodiversity and the knowledge associated with it. Ethnobotanical research into food plants also examines the ecological context of their cultivation and foraging. Traditional agricultural practices, such as intercropping and agroforestry, often promote biodiversity and sustainable land management. These practices offer valuable lessons for modern sustainable agriculture. Furthermore, the cultural significance of food plants extends beyond nutrition, encompassing social rituals, ceremonies, and economic systems. Documenting and promoting traditional food plants can contribute to cultural revitalization and empower communities to maintain their food sovereignty. This holistic approach underscores the profound connection between plants, diet, and human well-being. Fiber, dye, and craft plants. Beyond food and medicine, plants provide essential materials for countless cultural practices, including fibers for textiles, dyes for coloring, and wood for crafts and construction. Ethnobotanical studies document the plant species used for these purposes, along with the traditional techniques for processing and utilizing them. For instance, various plant fibers are used to create ropes, baskets, clothing, and shelters, showcasing ingenious craftsmanship. Natural dyes extracted from roots, leaves, and bark produce a spectrum of colors used in textiles, body art, and ceremonial objects. These plant-derived materials are often sustainable and deeply embedded in cultural heritage. The knowledge of how to identify, harvest, process, and apply these plants to crafts is often passed down through generations, representing a significant part of traditional ecological knowledge. Ethnobotanists work to preserve this knowledge by documenting the plants and techniques, often in collaboration with artisans and craftspeople. The revival of traditional crafts using local plant materials can also contribute to economic development and cultural revitalization within communities. This area of ethnobotany highlights the ingenuity of human adaptation and the diverse ways in which plants enrich material culture, offering sustainable alternatives to synthetic materials. Ethnobotany of indigenous cultures. Indigenous cultures worldwide possess an unparalleled depth of knowledge regarding their local flora. Their ethnobotanical practices are often holistic, integrating plants into every aspect of life: food, medicine, shelter, tools, spiritual ceremonies, and social structures. This knowledge is typically oral, passed down through generations through stories, songs, and practical demonstrations. It is deeply rooted in a profound understanding of local ecosystems and sustainable resource management. Ethnobotanists recognize indigenous peoples as primary knowledge holders, whose insights are critical for understanding biodiversity and developing sustainable solutions for global challenges. Respecting and preserving this knowledge is a moral imperative. The ethnobotany of indigenous cultures often includes sophisticated systems of plant classification, ecological indicators, and resource management strategies. Many indigenous languages contain nuanced terminology for plants and their uses, reflecting a detailed understanding of their environment. For example, traditional agroforestry systems mimic natural forest ecosystems, promoting biodiversity and long-term productivity. Studying these practices provides valuable lessons in sustainable living and ecological stewardship. Collaborating with indigenous communities, therefore, is not merely about data collection, but about a reciprocal exchange of knowledge that enriches both scientific understanding and cultural resilience. Case study: Amazonian ethnobotany. The Amazon rainforest is a global hotspot for biodiversity and a treasure trove of ethnobotanical knowledge. Numerous indigenous groups such as the Kayapo, Yanomami, and Kichwa have developed intricate relationships with the forest's vast plant diversity. Their knowledge encompasses thousands of plant species used for medicine, food, construction, and spiritual rituals. For example, the use of ayahuasca by various Amazonian tribes for healing and spiritual journeys is a well-documented ethnobotanical phenomenon. The Amazonian case study highlights the profound depth of traditional ecological knowledge and its critical importance for both local communities and global science. However, Amazonian ethnobotany also faces significant challenges, including deforestation, climate change, and biopiracy. The destruction of the rainforest directly threatens plant species and the indigenous cultures that depend on them. Biopiracy, the unauthorized commercialization of traditional knowledge, undermines indigenous intellectual property rights. Ethnobotanists working in the Amazon often engage in collaborative projects aimed at documenting knowledge, supporting sustainable resource management, and advocating for indigenous land rights. These efforts are crucial for preserving both the biological and cultural diversity of this invaluable region, ensuring the survival of both plants and people. Case study: African ethnobotany. Africa is a continent of immense ethnobotanical diversity, with a rich tapestry of cultures and ecosystems. Across its varied landscapes, from savannas to dense forests, numerous plant species are central to traditional medicine, food security, and cultural practices. Many African communities rely heavily on wild harvested plants for their primary healthcare needs, often utilizing complex herbal formulations. The baobab tree, for example, is revered across many cultures for its nutritional fruit, medicinal bark, and spiritual significance. African ethnobotany showcases a deep understanding of local flora and its sustainable management, passed down through generations. Challenges in African ethnobotany include habitat loss, overharvesting of medicinal plants, and the erosion of traditional knowledge due to modernization. Climate change also poses a significant threat to plant diversity and traditional livelihoods. Ethnobotanical research in Africa often focuses on documenting endangered plant species and associated knowledge, promoting sustainable harvesting practices, and supporting community-based conservation initiatives. Efforts are also made to integrate traditional medicine into national healthcare systems, recognizing its efficacy and cultural relevance. These initiatives are vital for preserving Africa's unique ethnobotanical heritage and ensuring its continued contribution to global well-being. Case study: Asian ethnobotany. Asia is home to an extraordinary diversity of plant life and human cultures, making its ethnobotany incredibly rich and complex. From the Himalayas to the tropical islands of Southeast Asia, plants play crucial roles in traditional medicine systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, as well as in daily diets, rituals, and crafts. For instance, ginseng is a cornerstone of East Asian medicine, while turmeric holds immense medicinal and culinary significance across South Asia. Asian ethnobotany showcases ancient, highly sophisticated systems of plant knowledge that have influenced global health and culinary practices for centuries. This vast continent offers endless avenues for ethnobotanical exploration. Despite its rich heritage, Asian ethnobotany faces challenges from rapid urbanization, industrialization, and the overexploitation of certain plant species. The loss of traditional habitats and the erosion of indigenous languages also threaten the transmission of ethnobotanical knowledge. Researchers in Asia are actively engaged in documenting traditional uses, conducting pharmacological studies to validate remedies, and promoting sustainable cultivation of medicinal plants. Initiatives often involve collaborating with local communities and traditional practitioners to preserve both biodiversity and cultural heritage. These efforts are vital for ensuring the continued relevance and sustainability of Asia's invaluable plant-based traditions. Conservation of medicinal plants. The conservation of medicinal plants is a critical global concern, driven by increasing demand for herbal remedies and the accelerating loss of biodiversity. Many traditionally used medicinal species are threatened by habitat destruction, climate change, and unsustainable harvesting practices. The extinction of a plant species means the irreversible loss of its genetic material and the traditional knowledge associated with it. Conservation efforts aim to protect these invaluable resources for future generations, ensuring the continued availability of natural medicines. This involves a multifaceted approach, combining in situ and ex situ strategies. In situ conservation focuses on protecting medicinal plants within their natural habitats, often through the establishment of protected areas and community-managed reserves. This approach also safeguards the ecological processes that support plant growth and the cultural practices linked to their use. Ex situ conservation involves maintaining plant species outside their natural environment, such as in botanical gardens, seed banks, and germplasm collections. These collections serve as living libraries and genetic reservoirs, providing material for research, reintroduction programs, and educational purposes. Integrating traditional knowledge with scientific conservation strategies is essential for effective and culturally appropriate protection of medicinal plant diversity. Threats to traditional knowledge. Traditional ecological knowledge, TEK, particularly ethnobotanical knowledge, faces numerous threats in the modern era. Rapid globalization and modernization often lead to the erosion of traditional practices and languages, which are the primary vehicles for transmitting TEK. Younger generations may lose interest in traditional ways, opting for modern education and lifestyles. Urbanization and migration also disconnect people from their ancestral lands and the plants that grow there. This cultural disruption results in an irreversible loss of invaluable knowledge about plant uses, sustainable resource management, and ecological wisdom. The disappearance of a language, for instance, can mean the loss of unique plant names and their associated cultural narratives. Environmental degradation, such as deforestation, habitat loss, and climate change, directly threatens the plant species that form the basis of TEK. When plants disappear, the knowledge about their uses also vanishes. Furthermore, biopiracy and the lack of recognition for indigenous intellectual property rights can disincentivize communities from sharing their knowledge, leading to its internalization and potential loss. Addressing these threats requires concerted efforts to support cultural revitalization, promote intergenerational knowledge transfer, and establish legal frameworks that protect indigenous rights. Safeguarding TEK is crucial for both cultural diversity and global sustainability. Bioprospecting and intellectual property. Bioprospecting refers to the exploration of natural sources, particularly plants, for new compounds with commercial value, often for pharmaceutical, cosmetic, or agricultural applications. Ethnobotanical knowledge frequently guides bioprospecting efforts, as traditional uses of plants can indicate potential biological activity. While bioprospecting can lead to the discovery of valuable new drugs and products, it raises significant ethical concerns. Historically, indigenous communities, whose knowledge led to these discoveries, have often not received fair compensation or recognition, leading to accusations of biopiracy. This imbalance highlights the need for robust legal and ethical frameworks. The concept of intellectual property rights, IPR, is central to addressing the ethical challenges of bioprospecting. International agreements, such as the Nagoya Protocol, aim to ensure access and benefit sharing, ABS, for genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge. This means that any party seeking to utilize traditional knowledge for commercial purposes must obtain prior informed consent from the knowledge holders and negotiate fair and equitable sharing of benefits. Implementing effective ABS mechanisms is complex, but crucial for promoting justice and sustainability in ethnobotanical research and commercialization. It ensures that indigenous communities are recognized as partners and receive fair compensation for their invaluable contributions. Sustainable harvesting practices are essential for ensuring the long-term availability of plant resources, particularly medicinal and food plants, for both traditional communities and commercial markets. Unsustainable harvesting, such as overcollection or destructive methods, can deplete plant populations, degrade habitats, and ultimately lead to local extinctions. Ethnobotanical research plays a crucial role in identifying and documenting traditional harvesting techniques that are inherently sustainable. These practices are often based on generations of ecological observation and a deep understanding of plant life cycles and regeneration rates. Promoting these methods is vital for conservation. Key sustainable harvesting principles include harvesting only what is needed, leaving enough individuals for regeneration, and avoiding damage to the plant or its surrounding ecosystem. This often involves selective harvesting of specific plant parts, example, leaves, bark, or fruits, rather than uprooting the entire plant. Traditional knowledge often dictates specific seasons or moon phases for harvesting, further contributing to sustainability. Ethnobotanists work with communities to assess the impact of harvesting, develop management plans, and implement certification schemes for sustainably sourced plant products. These collaborative efforts ensure that both ecological integrity and cultural practices are maintained for future generations. Ethnobotany in modern drug discovery. Ethnobotany plays a pivotal role in modern drug discovery by providing leads for new pharmaceutical compounds. Traditional healers and indigenous communities have accumulated vast knowledge about the medicinal properties of plants over millennia. This traditional knowledge serves as an invaluable guide for researchers, significantly narrowing down the search for bioactive compounds from the immense diversity of plant species. Instead of randomly screening thousands of plants, ethnobotanists can focus on species with documented traditional uses, increasing the efficiency and success rate of drug discovery programs. This targeted approach leverages centuries of empirical observation. Once a plant with promising traditional uses is identified, scientific investigation proceeds through several stages. This includes phytochemical analysis to isolate and characterize active compounds, followed by in vitro and in vivo pharmacological testing to evaluate their efficacy and safety. Many blockbuster drugs, such as paclitaxel, Taxol from the Pacific yew tree, used in cancer treatment, have their origins in ethnobotanical leads. However, it is crucial that modern drug discovery respects intellectual property rights and ensures equitable benefit sharing with the communities whose knowledge contributed to the discovery. This ethical framework ensures that the benefits of new drugs are shared fairly across the globe. Community-based conservation efforts. Community-based conservation, CBC, is a vital approach in ethnobotany, recognizing that local communities are often the most effective stewards of their natural resources. These initiatives empower indigenous peoples and local communities to manage and protect their traditional lands and the plant diversity within them. CBC projects often integrate traditional ecological knowledge with scientific conservation principles, leading to more culturally appropriate and sustainable outcomes. Examples include the establishment of community-managed protected areas, the revival of traditional agricultural practices, and the development of sustainable harvesting guidelines. This approach fosters local ownership and responsibility for conservation. The success of community-based conservation relies on active participation, capacity building, and the recognition of customary laws and land rights. Ethnobotanists often play a facilitating role, helping communities document their plant resources, assess threats, and develop conservation strategies. These efforts not only protect biodiversity, but also strengthen cultural identity and promote sustainable livelihoods. By empowering communities to make decisions about their own resources, CBC contributes to both ecological resilience and social justice. This collaborative model is increasingly recognized as a powerful tool for addressing global conservation challenges, ensuring that conservation benefits both nature and people. Ethnobotanical gardens and education. Ethnobotanical gardens serve as living museums and educational centers, showcasing the diverse relationships between people and plants. These gardens cultivate a wide array of plant species, often organized by their traditional uses, for example, medicinal, food, fiber, ceremonial. They provide invaluable opportunities for public education, raising awareness about plant diversity, traditional knowledge, and the importance of conservation. Visitors can learn about the cultural significance of plants, their historical uses, and their ecological roles. Ethnobotanical gardens also play a crucial role in ex situ conservation, maintaining rare and endangered plant species. Beyond public outreach, ethnobotanical gardens are important for research and training. They provide a controlled environment for studying plant growth, propagation, and chemical properties. Many gardens collaborate with indigenous communities to ensure accurate representation of traditional knowledge and to support the cultivation of culturally significant plants. Educational programs in these gardens often include workshops on traditional plant uses, guided tours, and interactive exhibits. By fostering a deeper connection between people and plants, ethnobotanical gardens contribute significantly to both scientific understanding and cultural appreciation, inspiring future generations of ethnobotanists and conservationists. Future directions in ethnobotany. The field of ethnobotany is continually evolving, with exciting future directions emerging. One key area is the integration of advanced technologies, such as genomics and bioinformatics, to analyze plant genetic diversity and identify bioactive compounds more efficiently. Remote sensing and GIS can be used to map plant distributions and monitor habitat changes, aiding conservation efforts. Another direction involves a stronger emphasis on citizen science, engaging local communities and the public in data collection and monitoring, fostering broader participation in ethnobotanical research. These technological advancements promise to enhance our understanding of human-plant interactions. Furthermore, future ethnobotanical research will likely focus more on addressing global challenges like climate change, food security, and public health. This includes exploring climate-resilient traditional crops, identifying new plant-based solutions for health issues, and understanding how traditional ecological knowledge can inform adaptation strategies. There will also be a continued emphasis on ethical research practices, ensuring equitable partnerships with indigenous communities and robust intellectual property protection. The field will increasingly contribute to policy development, advocating for the recognition and integration of traditional knowledge into national and international conservation and development agendas. Ethnobotany's future is bright, impactful, and globally relevant. Ethnobotany and cultural revitalization. Ethnobotany plays a crucial role in cultural revitalization efforts, particularly for indigenous communities, whose traditions have been threatened by colonization and modernization. By documenting and promoting traditional plant knowledge, ethnobotanists help communities reconnect with their heritage and strengthen cultural identity. This can involve reviving traditional languages that contain specific plant names, re-establishing traditional food systems, or reintroducing ceremonial uses of plants. The act of researching and celebrating ethnobotanical practices can empower communities, fostering a sense of pride and continuity. It helps to reverse the erosion of cultural practices and knowledge systems. Projects focused on cultural revitalization often involve intergenerational knowledge transfer, where elders teach younger generations about plant identification, harvesting, preparation, and associated stories. The establishment of community gardens dedicated to traditional plants, or the creation of educational materials in indigenous languages are common initiatives. These efforts not only preserve invaluable ethnobotanical knowledge, but also contribute to the overall well-being and resilience of communities. By recognizing the intrinsic value of traditional plant knowledge, ethnobotany supports the ongoing vitality of diverse cultures worldwide, ensuring that ancient wisdom continues to thrive in the modern world. Conclusion. Impact of ethnobotany. Ethnobotany is a dynamic and essential field that bridges the gap between human cultures and the plant kingdom. Its impact is far-reaching, contributing significantly to biodiversity conservation, drug discovery, food security, and cultural preservation. By documenting traditional ecological knowledge, ethnobotanists help safeguard invaluable information that has been accumulated over millennia. This knowledge offers sustainable solutions to modern challenges, from climate change adaptation to new medicinal breakthroughs. The interdisciplinary nature of ethnobotany ensures a holistic understanding, integrating scientific rigor with cultural sensitivity. It highlights the profound and enduring reliance of humanity on plants. Ultimately, ethnobotany fosters a deeper appreciation for the intricate connections between people, plants, and the environment. It advocates for ethical research practices, equitable benefit sharing, and the empowerment of indigenous communities as stewards of their traditional resources. As global challenges intensify, the insights provided by ethnobotanical research become increasingly vital for building a sustainable and equitable future. The field continues to inspire new generations to explore, understand, and protect the plant world and the diverse cultures that interact with it. Ethnobotany is not just a study of the past, but a crucial guide for the future.